Hello people! On this glorious day, I wanted to introduce to you the deck that is making everyone in the TCG cry tier 0. Sprights. In the TCG, their supposed dominance has reached your ears with cries of hand trap searching and frog turbo. Well, your OCG boy is here today to set the record straight because this deck has only top. Welcome one, welcome all to the new Tier 0 format. I hope you bought your cat, sharks and toad engines, because we are all going to learn the most basic rule of markets. They only go up. You'll have noticed this in the video name, but I got top 4 at an unofficial tournament in OCG using this list. It was a 2-player 32-team event, and these are usually the hard ones for Yu-Gi-Oh! No one turns up to these events with a meme deck, and everyone is tryharding. Think of it like a regional, but unofficial and for the OCG. Without any further ado, let's get into the basics of the deck. Sprites have a few basic combos that are absurd and provide as much consistency as you can ever really hope for from a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck. The basic combo is going to be either Jet or Blue, plus any level 2 monster. For the purposes of this combo, I'm going to start with Blue. Start by normal summoning your level 2 monster, and now you can inherently special summon your Sprite Blue from the hand. All sprites have the effect where they can special summon themselves from hand inherently as long as you control a level 2 monster. Now Blue on special summon is going to perform a search for a Sprite monster, so you search Sprite Jet. Sprite Jet can also inherently special summon, so now we're going to special summon that, and on special summon it will search for a spell trap. Sprite Starter can special summon a Sprite monster from the deck, but we're not going to do that yet. We're going to turn our 2 monsters into a Sprite Elf. Now that we've made Elf, we can activate our starter to safely special summon our Sprite Red from the deck under one of its link arrows for its targeting protection. Now we use Elf effect to revive a Sprite Jet from the graveyard, and now we turn the revived monster plus the blue into our Gigantic. Gigantic effect is going to activate, which detaches for effect to special summon a Swap Frog from the deck. Both players are now level link rank 2 locked for the rest of this turn. We're going to turn that Gigantic and that Swap Frog that dumped a Ronin Totem into an IP Masquerena. Now we're going to use the effect of Ronin Totem, banishing the Swap Frog from the graveyard for cost to special summon back to the field, and this is going to be our end board. This board is resilient, consistent, and very well protected. Monsters that Elf points to can't be targeted by card effects, and it provides a quick effect revive of a level 2 monster during either player's main phase. Red can tribute another level, link, or rank 2 monster to negate a monster effect, destroying the monster if the tributed card is rank link 2. And IP Masquerena is going to turn into a unicorn for a spin back, usually after red has spent its negate. Very powerful, interactive, and more importantly, you can very easily make a better board by having a strong normal summon option. Allow me to demonstrate. Okay, for this combo, the powerful normal summon that we have is Swap Frog and our blue. Start by normal summoning your Swap Frog, and it's going to dump the Ronin Totem to your graveyard. Now you can special summon blue inherently. On special summon, it will search for your Jet. Now you're going to special summon Jet, which is going to search for your starter. And before you activate starter, as usual, you make your Elf. Now you special summon using the starter to get a red from deck, and this red is of course going to be under one of the link arrows. We're going to use Elf effect, targeting in our graveyard a Swap Frog to revive it. Now we can activate Swap Frog effect, that's going to dump a Swap Frog from our deck. Now we're going to banish the Swap Frog that we just sent for the cost of Ronin Totem, which we're going to spec from the graveyard. This one's a little bit weird here. We're going to overlay using the Ronin Totem and the Swap Frog, not for a Toad, but instead for Gigantic. Now we activate Gigantic effect, detaching a Ronin Totem for effect to special summon from our deck a Swap Frog. we don't have any swap frogs left in deck, so we're not going to activate its effect. Now we're going to turn that Gigantic and red into an IP Masquerainer, and now we can revive the Ronin Totem by banishing the other swap frog, put it on the field. Now we can overlay using the Ronin Totem and the swap frog to get our Toad. The reason we linked off our red there was so that we could put a Toad under one of Elf's link arrows to protect it from targeting. This is incredibly powerful, and additionally, there is also no single hand trap that can be activated to prevent your combo, which is a very important point. Except for Max C, that'll kill you. If your opponent can't draw 2 hand traps, they can't stop you from having powerful interaction. Therefore, you need to play lots of hand traps to beat Sprite. Hence, you play a deck that can fit lots of hand traps. Hence, you play Sprite. I'm going to leave hand trap discussion at simply showing you the ones in my deck. If I discussed them in this video, it would be longer than a Drytron player's turn, and you would still screw them all up anyway. Okay, so now looking at the extra deck, we're going to start off first with Sprite Elf and Gigantic Sprite. You need 2 of these obviously because they are both very useful, and you can overlay on top of the Elf so that you can make your Gigantic Sprite and get it up to 32. Next along the line, we've got our Cat Shark. This is really useful for boosting up your Gigantic Splight that has a link to as material so that it gets up to 64 and you can hit for game. Next, your Sky Cavalry. This is very important for when you want to go for Zeus. And then, of course, your Downed and your Zeus so that you can go up to a 2 activation Zeus. Next, we've got our Toad. It's too expensive, so I'm proxying mine at the moment. And then next on the line, we've got our Unicorn, our Halky Fiber, our Edia, our Dark, and our Almirage. Here's the full list that I played at the tournament. A strong normal summon option is very important because removal being used on the monster that you normal summon can potentially end your turn then and there. Going second Sprite simply aims for the Zeus game plan, and since special summon of sprites from hand doesn't activate, the deck can reach a Zeus with 2 activations without having to activate an effect for the opponent to negate. The only thing a sprite list in OCG needs to care for in the main deck really is Sprite, since this is a tier 0 meta. There may be more room for other decks in TCG due to no Max C, so be aware that a TCG Sprite list may require slightly different hand traps or extra deck options. There are several mistakes in this particular list that I would suggest fixing before playing. I didn't play Dupe Frog because I hate bricks, but you will be punished for it. Oh no. Also, I played the Sacred Beast normal summon guy as my normal summon engine to care for Max C, and for the additional extension that it can provide. But I advise against this. Diva is generally a better normal summon, especially for going second. In TCG, Live Twin may also be a good option for an engine to include. However, nothing will replace frogs. Swap Frog is the best card in this deck. It has a 1-card combo option, inherent special summon by discarding a water monster. Dumping Ronin Totem will also ensure it to be a terrible option to hit with removal. Almost every game will have a Gigantic aiming to special summon out Swap Frog and then turn it into a Toad. If you drew it for your normal summon, you can instead use Gigantic to search for a Max C, which you can bounce back to hand using Swap Frog's effect. However, that game plan only works when undisrupted and usually is not the best unless you can draw some extenders. It is pretty degenerate when you get to do it. All in all though, this deck is a blast to play. It is extremely powerful, it is very fun, and the mirror matches are also very enjoyable. I would recommend almost anyone to play it and get a true test of what Yu-Gi-Oh! Can really be like at a competitive level. Anyway, I hope that you all learned enough from this video to understand how to play and play against sprites at the most basic level. I would like to talk more in depth, but that would probably take hours. For now, that's all from me, and I'll see you all in the next one.